Four Midwest Guys presents Rapid Reactions.
Hello everybody and welcome to the very first episode of Rapid Reactions. We just got done watching the first 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery. With me to discuss this is Brian Willenbrink.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Hey, so we just got done watching this, Brian. I really like Michael Burnham's character. I think it's going to be interesting to actually have a not so much as a female lead in it, because we've seen that in other shows, but a Star Trek universe focused on one character almost.
It's one character, and I think this is the first time we have a Star Trek anti-hero in a way. She's shamed, kind of. She's shunned.
She was shunned because of something she did. She went against Starfleet, but because to save her friends.
Right.
So it's one of the
she did it for the right reasons,
correct.
But still, everybody in the universe looks at her as
the mutineer.
The mutineer.
The original mutineer is what they call her.
The first ever.
Yeah.
Starfleet mutineer, which is an interesting take.
Right, and this whole series is taking place 10 years before Kirk and Spock and the Enterprise, so they're trying to bridge that gap between Enterprise and
the original
series.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to do that in today's day and age when you have the technology advances that we've already had from the 60s when the original series was out, and still try to make it fit in. How do you think they're doing so far?
Well, originally when I first saw the series, I always thought, oh, okay, so this takes place between Enterprise and then the alternate universe that takes place in the Star Trek reboot movie starting in 2009.
With J.J. Abrams.
With J.J. Abrams' version. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's similar looking to J.J.'s movies. Yeah, I can see that. But you brought up a graphic that somebody had created, and it says that at least for the moment, Star Trek's Discovery is in the original universe.
Yes, running parallel to the JJ universe and the Mirror universe.
The dark universe, essentially. So that creates problems for me, because you go from a very push-button 60s-esque style futuristic view to a modern futuristic view. That's going to cause some problems for me, I think. Just in how the ships are designed. Even the older ships, like because there was 2 ships in the series that they start with, the Shinju, and then we eventually go to the Discovery. And both of these ships are compared to the original Star Trek, because again, it's 60s style, futuristic style, looks far superior to what we saw in the original series.
Yeah, I'm not minding it as much, because I look at it as being sci-fi, as being Star Trek. To me, I've never had a problem with things not being canon. I'm looking at it as a new story being told that it just happens to fall into this other universe. I can see where people would have an issue with it, but then again, look at the kind of stuff that they had in the 60s of the TV show, and we have automatic open doors.
Yeah.
We have all this other equipment that essentially would be on these Star Trek ships, and now, how to bring in the new audience, because those of us that have seen the other Star Treks, we know what happens in all those, and we're like, oh, that's awesome with space, and to keep our interest, keep our eyes on the screen, and also bring in that new millennial and lower age group,
right?
Try to keep their attention and bring them into the universe too. They had to go.
Well, sure.
In a different direction.
It just makes more sense for me, because I am a canon person, a continuality person, a person that looks at visuals, and say it just would have been easier to stick it in the alternate universe.
Correct, because you don't have that Captain Kirk ending that you have to hit. You're not following that time. You can say it's 10 years prior, but there's not really
there's no set start point.
Correct.
Really. It's so they can drag it, if it's successful like it seems to be, they can drag it out for seasons instead of saying, well, we've only got, it's 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years.
Which would be 10 seasons, I guess, which would be significant. But still, that's you're setting yourself in stone and saying that you're only going to operate from this point A to this point B and no further. So as it is. But yeah, I really like the uniforms, though. The uniforms are a nice transition, because I'm in that whole canon thing because it looks part Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise series, and looks part original series to me. I can see both.
Right, it looks like they meshed the two, like it's almost going to transform into the other one.
Right.
Now, the one thing that I did find was kind of odd, speaking about canon, it doesn't bother me, but it might bother some. Their little insignia patch, the, what is it called?
Yeah, the Starfleet emblem. Yeah.
So that wasn't adopted by the Starfleet until after Kirk's 5-year mission, according to canon. And here everybody
has it on.
I mean, even the prisoners, when Michael Bourne when she's a prisoner, she has it on.
Yeah, well, we are, I guess, obviously history keeps getting rewritten, but we are at the point where the Federation does exist, where in Enterprise, the Federation doesn't exist till the very end of the series. Up to that point, they're just an Earth ship, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And then they create, obviously, the whole story of Enterprise is kind of how they got started at the very beginning and how they birthed the Federation from that process.
Right.
So now, I guess it makes sense to have at least some kind of an emblem for the Federation on them.
So another thing that I really like about this show, it's a TV show on a multi-billion-dollar movie production salary there on a budget. It is just crazy to watch the special effects and how everything looks seamless.
Yeah.
When the ship gets hit with the Klingon torpedoes or whatever it is, goes straight through the hull, and then all of a sudden the shield, you can see the shield form the same as. I mean, that's awesome. Like that kind of stuff on a TV show is unheard of.
Yeah, we got glimpses of it at maybe very early on in Next Generation with certain scenes, but I think that's the first time we've seen it like on a ship basis outside of the movie field, outside of the movie world where the production level is higher. Right. But on the small screen, it is very cool to see. They got, not only do they're bringing in modern technology, as far as visual effects are concerned, but they're bringing in a new twist on some future technology that we've never seen before in the Star Trek universe, which creates its own problems because it is before the original series, it is before Next Generation, and yet there's this new propulsion system that they're experimenting with. Spoiler alert, by the way, if you guys haven't watched it yet, but
this whole thing's a spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's I like that. It's real. It's return of the science to Star Trek. Not that I didn't like the J.J. Abrams movies, but J.J. Abrams has even said he's more of a Star Wars fan than he is a Star Trek fan, and he kind of made a Star Trek Star Wars movies. These the two that he made, and this kind of returns Star Trek to a little bit more science fiction per se, because it is some wild stuff that they're.
It's fantastic. The stories so far have been great. 3 episodes in. The next one comes out this Sunday.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to bring something up for you. If you can tell me what you think. I was listening to a podcast that Jason Inman was on. Okay. He's on Collider, and he has his own YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. He brought up, and he said, a lot of the reaction to the original pilot, it was the only one aired on TV.
Right.
People saw it, and they were turned off by it, and they said it was too slow. Okay, and I told you guys, I said you guys, I mean you and all of our friends. Right. I said, after you watch the first one, you have to watch the second one because it feels like it's a 2-parter. Yeah. Right.
Right, and it is.
But they're only allowing us to watch it on CBS Access.
Right. Exactly.
So, watching the way these 3 episodes have unfolded, Jason brought up a good point. Wouldn't it have been better to have episode 3, because of how wild and crazy it was, wouldn't it have been better to have that be the pilot episode and then have it be a flashback sequence
to what happened to her?
To cause her to be in that situation.
Yeah, I can definitely see that argument, and I almost agree with that, because at least you would be on the ship, the Star Trek Discovery ship. You wouldn't be on the Senju, whatever. Senju. And, so it would have been less confusion. You would have established that, she's in trouble. You knew it was going to happen, but you still don't know why at the start, and that would explain the whole thing. So, I think it would have been better I think the third episode would have made the better pilot with the flashback sequence in it.
No, I mean, even besides that, CBS is reporting that they're having record numbers of people signing up
Well, sure.
for CBS All Access.
It's the first Star Trek TV show since Enterprise, and that's been at least, almost 10 years.
Yeah, and on top of that, people didn't really need to pay for CBS All Access. Because really, I mean, granted, there are some shows on there, but nothing that is solely
proprietary.
On that. People could watch it on TV, they could watch the reruns, whatever.
Right.
Do you think that a lot of shows are going to go this route now?
I think a lot of the networks will now because there's more money to be made, and that's not a good thing for us. And I granted the medium is changing, and like Netflix is changing the game, and they're the groundbreakers. And
they're going to raise their prices next
they
month.
It's already started. So
for their current users.
So so what's going to happen is, okay, CBS has Star Trek. Well, ABC, which is owned by Disney, is going to do a Star Wars series, and that's only going to be on their content. So now I've got to haul out another $10.
But they haven't said that yet, but that's more likely where it's going to go.
Right, but Disney's coming with their own streaming service.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to have to do. So now instead of having one satellite system where I pay a flat fee for all my channels and have a DVR set up to record all this stuff, now I'm going to have individual apps, individual programs, and individual bills for every one of these apps so that I can see these shows that they're producing and that I want to produce.
All right, well, let's hope it doesn't go that direction. Brian, so I want to wrap this up kind of quick.
Okay.
What is one of your favorite things about this new series?
I love the fact that Jason Isaacs is the captain. I really liked him. He usually plays the bad guy.
True.
So it'll be interesting to see him play a captain, and it's interesting. I think they're right now they left off episode 3 the way episode 3 ends. He's almost being played up like a mad captain or a mad scientist.
I agree.
Captain.
I agree. He definitely seems that way.
Yeah.
I would have to go with the special effects are just knocking it out of the park for me. I love the way the new ship is designed too, with the outer disc and the inner disc.
Yes, like a space station almost looking.
Yeah, well, one of the things that from the other shows was when they're going through, and they're trying to you're trying to get the grasp of how big this ship is or whatnot. The only rooms in the whole place that have windows are on the outside, right? So you don't really realize how many rooms there are.
Right.
But by adding an inner disc and an outer disc, they were able to put windows on everything. So you don't have like skylights or whatever like they did on Next Generation.
Right.
You actually have windows for walls, and you can see how massive this place is.
Right.
I really like that aspect of it.
I think it would be cool if they start rotating that. That'd be kind of cool. Like it would start moving.
Well, what I was wondering is, I was wondering if the reason why they do that is because they have experiments in certain parts, and they can eject the outer.
It could be too containment.
They can eject the outer disc.
I could see that. I could totally see that.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty sweet. All right.
You got anything else you want to talk?
Not right now. I think we're 3 episodes in, and there's not much else to talk about. And it is just a quick recap. So let's move right into final thoughts.
Yeah, let's do some final thoughts.
Copy that.
All right, Brian. So, on a scale of 1 to 5 starships,
all right.
How many starships would you give the first 3 episodes we've seen so far?
The first episode, it's kind of a 2-parter. So yeah, if I had to put all 3 together real quick, I'd give it let's give it a 8 out of 10 starships, or maybe warp factor 8.
Ooh, warp 8.
Warp 8.
Warp 8. Yes, I'm right there with you. I'm thinking 8.5, 9. I mean, this is really. To me, it really kept... I wish that they would have done it all at once so we could binge watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I know why they didn't, because they want people to pay for their service month after month.
Right.
Some people may pay right at the end.
Yeah.
And then binge watch once, so they only pay... They get that free week that CBS offers.
That could be, yeah.
Or if they just did, or they've released that episode every 3 days or something. What I don't like is the fact that they're only doing one a week.
Yeah, the nice thing about the online is that you don't have to wait. That was always the big thing that they took away from it. So
yeah.
yeah.
But overall, it's a great series, and I can't wait to watch more of it every week.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so for myself and Brian Willenbrink,
yes, sir.
Us here at 4 Midwest Guys are going to talk to you next time. I don't know if we're going to do one every week for Discovery. We might do one every couple episodes. We might do one once a week.
Maybe.
But this has been Rapid Reactions, and we'll catch you next time.